Hello. Welcome back to DaPoddy. I am Angie from the future because I want to add a little bit of context and vulnerability as a preface to this episode, because when I recorded it, it was the day that it happened and I had a lot of excitement and kind of like a racing mind about the experience, to where I feel like I wasn't articulating what I was feeling in the best way possible. And so I feel like I came across as a bit naive and maybe a bit more privileged than my upbringing really was. And initially I was thinking about adding a preface, but I decided not to because I didn't want people to hyperfixate on the critiques I have, and I wanted them to just get what they needed to from the experience. But after having the episode out without this preface in place, I continued to feel not that great about how it could be misperceived because I didn't articulate myself in the way I desired. And it also felt important to me to keep the recording that I have because it felt raw and authentic and real because it happened that day. And I feel like there's an energetic imprint that I just can't recreate. And so instead of re-recording, I'm just going to add this preface. So I highly dislike the fact that even after I talked about how viewing this through the lens of homeless people and then normal people was not cool and accurate, that I continued to refer to privileged people as normal people. I do not like that at all. And in retrospect, instead of being hard on myself, I realized that I just didn't have the vocabulary to articulate what I really meant. And I think I caught myself towards the end, and you can probably see it, but I do not enjoy that aspect of how I referred to it. And you'll see, like, I put in asterisks about what I really meant. So yeah, I am aware now, after I have traveled, that some of my revelations are going to be a no-brainer to some people who grew up in different parts of the country or different countries. And so to add some context to the parts where I probably seemed a little naive, a few things here. I just freshly turned 23 and I just started exploring the world. That's a thing. Sometimes a little too hard on myself because I feel like I should be more ahead of my time than I really am. But to reel it back in, I grew up in a very, very small town in the Midwest. Homeless people did not exist there. They just didn't. If someone was homeless, they were probably staying in someone's house. It just wasn't a thing. And in the biggest town closest to me, every here and there, I'd see one or two homeless people on the street sometimes, but it was definitely not every time I went. And with the people there that I experienced, that's where I experienced being taken advantage of for the support that I was giving. And so I feel like there's just this different tone versus after having have spent time in other parts of the country where living expenses are higher and there's a bigger population of people, it became apparent that it's pretty obvious that there's just really beautiful, genuine people who are just in unfortunate situations. It's pretty apparent. But with that being said, I hope this adds some context to this podcast, and I hope that this just helps frame my experience a little bit more in a way where I feel like it wasn't framed that well without this. And so I hope it just brings context because I think there's really beautiful lessons inside of this as well, but there is a few critiques that I have from myself. But being real and authentic is the most important thing to me, and that was my real and authentic emotions about the experience. And there was just some parts where I didn't articulate myself that well. That's it. So I introduced to you an episode about a really beautiful, kind-hearted human being who is in a more unfortunate situation than I, and who was fully aware that I was more than likely more privileged than he was, who was offering me help and support in a way that really changed my view of reality as I knew it, being a young girl navigating this world on her own and experiencing a lot of things for the first time. And so I hope you get so many beautiful nuggets out of this episode, and we can learn from his kindness and his beautiful heart the way I did, because it radically changed my life. So enjoy. Hello, and welcome back to DaPoddy, the podcast where I'm very confused. I'm assuming most of you guys see the title. If you just somehow ended up here without seeing the title and you're driving or something, it says, "A homeless man gave me money," because he did. So, yeah, there's a lot to unpack here for me. I'm still unpacking it. It happened earlier today, and I haven't stopped thinking about it. And I don't know if I ever will, and I think it changed my life. So, welcome. I am in California, and if you've been keeping up with my journey, I talked about this. This has been a goal of mine for like a long time, and I finally made it. I was scared that my van wouldn't make it, but we made it, and we're here. There's been so many things that have happened, but this is feeling like the most present for me to share because it's just such a mindfuck paradigm shift thing that happened. It's a lot for me to wrap my brain around. So, let me set the scene for you. Well, my day starts out with, I forget to empty my gray water tank, and it's been the first time that I had it full and didn't realize it was full, so it overflowed, and it got everywhere. That was fun, so I had to clean that up. I was like, oh my god, don't reach my battery. I don't need, wet batteries and then a wet fridge and broken things. So I had to deal with that this morning. And then I went and got coffee, and then I was like, okay, well, I'm going to wash my clothes now because they're full of gray water. Because I keep my clothes back here, which helped protect it from the fridge, so I'm grateful. But yeah, so I had a big day of tasks to do, and I was like, and I'm out of water, but I'm definitely not out of gray water. So I went to Safeway, and I was going to go for something else. I was going to go for laundry detergent. But then I saw that they had a water machine, so I just went outside, and I filled up my water that was empty. And that's when I walked up and I saw the homeless man sitting outside the Safeway. I might have made eye contact, but it was kind of like far away for me to really notice that. So I just went about my business and started filling up the water. I didn't have quarters because I used up all my quarters for parking and didn't really think about that when I did it at the time. But yeah, so I didn't have quarters, so I was just going to use like nickels and dimes and whatever I had left. So I was scraping through, getting just enough change. I had to do 50 cents at a time, so I'd do 50 cents of nickels and dimes. And I did like 2 gallons, and then I was like, oh shit, there's mostly pennies in here, and it doesn't take pennies. So I was like, I was just kind of scrounging. And I was like trying to count and see if I had enough for 1 more gallon. Otherwise, I was just going to use my card. It's okay. It's all good. And then the homeless man is like, do you need some quarters? And I was like, no, it's okay. Like, I'm good. I can use my card. And he was like, just started coming over, and I don't know if he really listened to me or heard it. He just started putting in the quarters. He's like, how much do you need? And I was like, well, this is probably good. And then he was like, no, there's more to fill. And then he started putting in more. It was getting to the point where I'm like, dude, I have enough water. I swear. And some of them went through the coin return thing. And then, he put the rest into my purse. This was all him insisting. And, yeah. And then a lady saw everything that went down, and she gave him money, and he was like, it just keeps coming in. And I was like, fuck yeah, it is, dude. Oh my God. So that was a huge paradigm shift. And yeah, we talked a little bit, and yeah, that was that. That has really fucked with my mind all day. And it's brought a lot of insights to me. A few of them directly related to this have been, there's been a lot of times where I'm running on zero in money. And I see homeless people begging or, homeless people on the street. And I'm like, okay, same here, buddy. I'm just slightly more privileged with this car, but it's not much better of a situation. And now I don't have that excuse, I've had a couple experiences where I had people begging, coming up to me for money, and learning either that it's this guy that scams people for gas money. And then there was another time where I gave it to this girl and she was like, do you have more? And I was like, excuse me, be grateful for what I gave you. What the fuck? So I've had a couple experiences like that. I've not really thought about it until now, but I had a bad taste in my mouth, and I've not been as willing as other people are to give them money because of my experiences that I've had. But it's really shown me that, okay, yes, there is a population of tweakers and other people, but there's also this other population of people that are just real, genuine human beings. Like the guy today, like if I saw him again, I want to be friends with him. He was a genuine, kind-hearted person. He was a human being. At the end of the day, human being. And yeah, it changed my mind on that level because I feel like me and other people in society have been like, okay, there's the homeless population and then there's like normal people, you know, normal civilization. This kind of blended them for me where I'm like, I'm going to be more mindful of that. I'm going to be more mindful that there is like real ass genuine people who are just in unfortunate situations. You know, that could be my friend. That could be this, that could be that. And it got me thinking on, you know, if a normal person gave me extra cortisone, I'd be like, thanks, you know, whatever. But it was like a homeless person. It was a homeless person that gave me money. Like, what? So I've just thought about that all day, and it's just like, you know, highlights the places where I've been greedy. There's also been times where it's like I've given money, even though I've been like really fucking down, and other people that I gave it to may have not known that. And I feel like there's no excuse, you know, if you have a little bit extra change and you see someone genuinely needs it or something, like we can give that. But it was an interesting paradigm shift. And it really highlighted to me too, where a lot of times people who have either been homeless or are homeless impact me significantly more than normal people. I had this coworker that used to be homeless and used to live in homeless shelters, would hitchhike and all those things. He saw my van and he said, "Oh my God, this is so cool." And I felt it. I was like, you know what? You're right. This is super cool. I'm super fucking lucky and all the things. Most of the time when people say, oh, that's so cool, it's like people who live in houses who don't understand the ins and outs of this experience. Sometimes I'm thinking about where am I going to empty my piss jug? Or I'm going to have to think a little bit extra about where am I going to go to just sit on my phone and do nothing. There's just so much thought that goes into so many things. And it's just like people who live in houses and have never experienced anything like this don't understand. Where I'm like, it's hard for me to say thank you because they don't see the whole picture. They see like what's posted online, like the cool national park videos and all those cool views. And that's the only thing that they're thinking about. But when my coworker who has been homeless, like saw my van and said that was cool, it meant a lot more to me. And it made me so grateful for what I do have. And yeah, so that was interesting for me to reflect on. So I guess I'll get into my California life update and like some lessons I've learned so far as well. I've been on sloth vibes to the max lately. In my last podcast, I was kind of super like focused on meeting new people and whatever. And I had this moment of being like, I'm tired of planning out every single day. And the other day I just parked somewhere and I sat on my phone, actually just FaceTimed my friend for hours, and I did nothing. And it felt great because I had to realize that this is my life now, and I always felt like I needed to be doing something. Like, oh, I'm in this new town, I need to do something. I'm doing this and doing that, I need to explore, I need to whatever. And I realized I don't want to. I want to do nothing. And I will get super burnt out because this is my life now. This isn't a road trip. Like, I need to have days where I do not shit. And I've been kind of in this not shit vibe. I went to an ecstatic dance in the city that I'm now in, which is a different city than I was in before. Surprise, surprise. And at the other one, I was like kind of putting pressure on myself to meet new people and whatever. And this city, they felt way more open. Like that ecstatic dance was super connective. Like it was a group experience. It was really nice. And if I wanted to, I probably could have made friends. I don't know. It's a whole thing for me to like want to step into, and I didn't really feel like I wanted to. These people seem cool, but like as long as I'm getting social interaction, I'm like good. You know, like I did things that were uncomfortable. I danced in a cypher. I've never done that before. I was like scared that they were gonna have us freestyling, and I was like, bro, I am not prepared to freestyle like vocal wise in front of a bunch of different people. I was like, oh my god, no. But she was like, cypher is in like a dance cypher, where like you stand in the middle of a group of people and you dance while everyone watches you. So I did that. I did a bunch of uncomfortable things, and I had a little emotional moment on the dance floor where I was just looking around and I'm like, all these beautiful human beings. With this lifestyle, you are constantly saying hello and goodbye. And that's not something that I've experienced with this before. Like before, I was living in one town, one city, getting to know all my friends deeper. And to now it's like I'm out here like to travel, I'm out here to explore. And there's kind of this lack of depth that gets to happen with the cities or the people. But that's also up to me. I could choose to stay and like get to know them and whatever. And I have done that in certain ways, but towards the end of the dance, I was just looking around and just really registering how this is just like a moment in time that is going to pass. I will probably never see these people again. And it was kind of like this existential thing, because it's like, life is always like that. Like this moment that you're living in, you'll never get it back. Like you're never going to get this exact moment back. But it was extra exaggerated for me because it's like I have this knowing that like I'm never going to see these people again. And so I just like looked around and just had so much gratitude for the room I was in, for the people that were there and like how kind they were and all the eye contact and smiles, and it felt really beautiful. So I just had a moment of reflecting on that here. And I also got accepted finally to do work trade for this festival next weekend. So I'm not super in this like I need to meet people vibration, because I'm like, okay, I know I'm going to meet people at this festival. Like, it's just gonna happen. And then I found another festival that I'd like to volunteer at this other town my friend recommended to me. And that one seems like a full fuck yes. And so I think I'm just in festival season where it's not as much about dancing and doing all that stuff, where it's more about going to these places where I know I'm gonna meet people. Because festivals, in my opinion, are the easiest ways to meet new people and make new friends. And that is the whole reason why I have the friend group that I had in Colorado, is because I went to a festival by myself and met different people that became essential parts of my life. So I have this knowing that if I go to a festival, I'm going to make new friends. So I don't have all this pressure on myself anymore where I'm like, oh, I need to meet people. I need to meet people in this town, where I feel like it is easier to just know at least one person in a town that you're visiting, because they know people and then they can introduce you to them, and it's less of an isolating experience. And it's also been beautiful to just like pop in and be like this mystery girl in the background, where it's like, okay, you're our age, you're our demographic, and you are in this locally known spot to be where the vibes are, but not publicly known. You know what I'm saying? Like, not anybody knows about this thing, and you're here. Who are you? And I've kind of enjoyed just being that presence where people are like, where'd you come from? But they'll never ask it. But they're just like kind of looking at you like, who is the, what? And I kind of enjoy being that little mystery for people. So basically, I don't have a bunch of pressure on myself, because I know that I'm going to be meeting people at these festivals. And like I was saying, the festival is no longer about dancing. I don't mind working them, because before it'd be like, oh, I don't want to work, I want to like have fun and do all these things. But now it's like, I'm so down to work just to be in an environment like that that's just pure magic and pure synchronistic moments. So I'm just like, I don't mind working it. Like, okay, like I'm gonna meet people, I'm gonna like be in this like really awesome space and really awesome energy, and that's my priority. So it's just like, if I was just going to have fun and fuck around, I would have been like, that's exhausting. Thinking about how if I did this festival I'm doing next weekend, after 2 weeks I'd be going to this other festival. For me, it's just like, oh, I have these different things that I'm going to do that's going to be opportunities to make new friends. I don't need to do the drugs. I don't need to stay up until well, I might stay up if I'm hanging with good people. I might do that. But it's just not about what it has been about for me in this scenario for going to festivals. It's not like getting so fucked and having so much fun. It's about stepping outside my comfort zone. Like, it'll be easier for me to become an embodiment of this version of myself that I want to be, being more extroverted or starting conversations with people and like really keeping them going. Yeah, it's just going to be easier in an environment like that. And I know each festival is going to lead me to my next steps. So fuck it, we ball. You know what I'm saying? It feels nice to be in this relaxed energy, because it felt good and it was very enlightening for me to be in that energy of wanting to meet people and being like, oh fuck, I don't have certain qualities naturally. I'm going to need to learn them. it was really impactful for me to learn that, but it was starting to feel exhausting to be like, oh, I constantly need to do this, this, and this. Because when you're living in a house, you don't need to constantly be putting yourself in uncomfortable situations. Like, I can rest a little bit, okay? Like, if I don't want to go out and meet new people, like, I can just do my thing and do that for like a week or however long I want to do that before I go meet new people. For me, it's so easy to constantly live outside my comfort zone, being in this lifestyle, but I need to find ways to actually bring comfort. You know, like, it'll be a problem if I'm sitting here not willing to meet new people. If it's been like 2-3 weeks, I'm like, oh, I don't want to go to that because I don't feel like doing this. I don't feel like meeting people, or I don't feel like going out. It'll be a problem if that's how it goes out. But if it's just like these short phases of being like, okay, I need to spend time with myself, because I feel like when I put myself in uncomfortable situations, it's easier for me to be hard on myself because I'm not acting in the way that I want to be acting if I'm trying to learn something new. So I feel like it's healthy for me to have these phases of being like, you know what, bitch, you stepped outside the comfort zone way harder than most people will ever in their entire life. You can chill the fuck out. Okay, you can just relax. You can watch a little Netflix. It's okay. So, yeah, that's where I'm at. I have a lot of things to look forward to, so I know I'm going to have a lot of stories to share. But that was my eventful day. That was super impactful for me. It started out just like this complete mind fuck, and now it's starting to get more emotional, where I'm really grateful to have had that beautiful experience with the homeless human being today. And I'm looking forward to all the lessons and all the things I get to experience in the near future. And I thank you guys for being on this journey with me. It's been quite the journey. I don't know. I feel like some people can step into van life and it's like, you know, whatever. And for me, it's just been like, holy shit. It's been like this giant synchronistic machine of lessons, of facing off with all of the deepest, darkest parts of me I've been running away from, running straight into that by constantly being in the unknown. And it's been a really beautiful way to get to know myself and get to work on the parts of myself that I've been wanting to work on, because it's very present. So, yeah, thank you so much for being here. I hope you have a lovely night or day whenever you're watching or listening to this. And yeah, see you soon. Bye.